Hi, welcome to the 10th session of Taming Depression and Anxiety with Dr. Pat Ryan. Today I'm going to focus on, or at least I'm going to start out with, recognizing avoidance patterns. And avoidance is pretty normal in our behavior patterns because we really want to avoid conflict, we want to avoid confrontation, or even self-assertion with people. And so worrying over and obsessing and stewing over problems, that's an avoidance pattern. Avoiding situations that require you to accept what your actions and whatever you have done, withdrawing from people so that you never really take care of old business, and that stops the learning process. And again, I'm going to emphasize that that stops the learning process. So hiding your thoughts and feelings from others. Well, sometimes it's not appropriate to tell other people what your thoughts and feelings are because they may backfire on you. And so everybody has kind of had a situation in which they've been burned by something like that. So again, but it's a matter of learning how to do that in a way which, again, is functional for you, not necessarily that you can say things in a different way that turn out to be less disturbing, either to you or to anybody else. Not that you make other people feel, but you do have some effect, let's put it that way. You do have some effect on other people whenever you are having transactions with them. I can't tell you how often my clients have told me that I avoid situations because people might judge me, might be evaluating me. And let me just say that I think that people are judging and evaluating you all the time. You are, as I'm talking, you are thinking, where does what she's saying fit in with what you're thinking? So that evaluation process, you can't stop that on the other person's part because people are going to evaluate what you say. And our words do mean a great deal. Okay, another one of those is complaining about problems in ways that don't tend to lead to solutions. Now, granted, everything is not going to be problem solved and solving right away because we do sometimes have to really address, again, going back to what are the consequent feelings that we have. What are the triggers that we're saying to ourselves or to others? What are our irrational beliefs? Well, people should accept everything I should say unconditionally. Well, I don't think that's always the case. So it's really okay to learn how to use beneficial language. That was a great lesson that was taught to me by my husband about using benefits language. Because benefits, generally speaking, for yourself and others, goes over a whole lot better than a whole lot of other ways. That doesn't mean that you're going to be ingenuous. It doesn't mean that you're going to lie to other people about what you think and feel. Sometimes it's just better not to say what you think or say what you're feeling about something. And that's okay too. Also using food, drugs, alcohol, or sedatives to numb your emotions. I mean, that's useful. It goes nowhere. It's useless. So that, again, using your brain to help yourself learn how to get through life in a much more comfortable way. Let's put it that way. I think that sometimes it's really okay just to be neutral about things. We don't have to be problem solving all the time, because basically our brains have other things to think about. And life happens. And life comes at us fast. So that's not an easy task to do. So when you start using this rational motor behavior process, I think you'll find that you'll be able to process things much faster. That it's a function of repetition over and over and doing it over, even if you don't think that it's really important. Everything is important to yourself. And so I don't ever diminish anything that anybody says, well, it's not important about something that I do. Yes, it is. It's important to you. And you are important. Also, suppressing emotions or trying to keep from thinking about painful subjects. Your brain will not let you do that. If you have a painful process going on, you're going to think about that and you're going to worry about that. And basically, all that does is escalate your arousal level, and oftentimes it really exacerbates the pain. So that it doesn't go away just by allowing that ruminative process to keep on going. So it's okay to learn how to start giving yourself time. Sometimes it's okay to put something off until you have more information or until you've had time to think that, let your brain think that a little bit more on your back burner. So it's really okay to do that. I have to share with you that I found this little piece of stationery in a stationery store that I thought was a very interesting title. It says, "Things You Do That Really Piss Me Off." Now, I started talking about that in session, I believe it was session 8, that I was going to do more about, because we went through some of those things. I'd like to rework that title. That my working title is Things That I Disturb Myself About and Really can stop pissing myself off. So again, things that I piss myself off about, when you start from you can begin to manage your emotions a whole lot better. So take your time and learn how to do the process, because it's really worth it. There are 3 options at the end of this little thing. And it says, "But it's cute," "Please stop," or "We're through." And this is often what happens. When you are not in agreement with somebody else, then it's very easy for people to say, "Well, we're through. We're not going to talk about this anymore. You know, I don't like your crap," or whatever that is. And it's too bad, because that stops, again, the learning process. We're not always going to compromise on things. We are going to have differences. And basically learning how to stop being divisive with those differences is a really hard task. And in this day and age, it seems to be very, 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 very hard. I don't think I can say that often enough. And it's really too bad that it has to be that way. But we choose, it's our choice, okay? So we can learn how to manage that, or we can keep on disturbing ourselves about things we cannot have control over. I want to go on talking about a synopsis of anger management principles that I've had for a long time. And basically some of the time, or a lot of the time, becoming angry has something to do with doubting yourself, or being unsure, or feeling threatened by someone else. And we certainly all want to feel safe. That's kind of a bottom line idea that we as human beings, safety is a critical variable for us. It's really important to remember that you are a worthy person and that you have good qualities. You may have some qualities that are not so good. However, it's really important to be balanced, and the balancing is what's important. Sometimes we get angry because we take things personally when there is no need to do that, but we do it anyway. So even when someone is being offensive to you, you can control and contain your anger by really learning how to focus and stick to what must be done in the situation to get out what you want. Now again, wanting doesn't mean that that person has to be different or that you have to be different for them. But that means that it's really important to be clear about what it is that you like to have. I find that oftentimes people talk in monologues, not dialogues. So the other person is just waiting for you to end your sentence before they begin to retort and respond to you. So sometimes you get angry simply because it's one thing you've always done in a certain situation. Well, that's a conditioned response pattern. Again, I talk about that thought generating the feeling and resulting in behavior. People often ask me, well, how come I do this over and over and over again? Well, because it's a conditioned response pattern, because it's a chain reaction. So how do you break that up? Well, I usually teach them stress management tools like rhythmic breathing, like stop it, like I stubbornly refuse to upset myself about anything, so they can begin to weaken that chain reaction between the thought and the feeling. So one of the most important things that's really important for you to learn how to control this is recognizing the signs of arousal as soon as they occur. You can begin to feel that rise up in your body. It's a physiological phenomenon. And heightened anger really makes you agitated and impulsive, so that you're liable to make choices that it's like that time when you have to extract the foot out of your mouth because you said something that you wish you hadn't said. So heightened anger really kind of, again, interferes with our processing in a way which is beneficial to us. I'm going to always go back to how we can deal with being more beneficial to ourselves. Okay, so if you're going to have anger, then basically work to use it to your advantage. If you want a positive outcome, well, you have to work toward that. That's not something that's just going to automatically happen. So impulsive and antagonistic acts get you into more trouble. So work at staying task-oriented, and instruct yourself. What is it that I need to do? What is it that I need to say in this moment in time? It's not uncommon. I remember a situation in which someone was really angry with me and went on and on and on and on. And all the time they were doing that, I was working on how can I respond to this kind of talk. And at the end, the odd thing is that the other person ran out of rants at me and apologized, which was a very surprising kind of thing that happened. But believe me, you can instruct yourself to stay calm, stay cool, work at. I always had a hard time doing counting to 10, but whatever works for you, taking breaths. I mean, I think that using rhythmic breathing is one of the best tools that we can utilize to help ourselves break up structured kinds of thinking that we've been conditioned to doing over and over and over again. So remember that you are in control of your situation, and that you want to take charge of the situation for you, to avoid being unduly disturbed, making decisions that do not turn out well for you. And so this is what, and it goes on, because anger is going to beget anger. And basically then it's back and forth. So sometimes the better part of value is just biting your tongue. Not always, but sometimes. The other thing that you can do about that is learning how to be assertive without being critical of other people. And that's not so easy to do. It takes practice and learning and desire. Let me just put it that way. If you desire to want to have better interactions with others, that's certainly a reasonable desire. As a behaviorist, one of the last things in this anger management principles is don't forget to congratulate yourself when you have handled yourself well in a tough situation. Okay? Self-reward is as much as, gee, good, I handled that well, or I'm glad that my feelings stayed in check. I'm glad that I didn't overreact. So that's a really good thing. So just keep that in mind, because behavior reward, positive reward, is very powerful. And don't forget to subscribe, because I still have more ongoing things to share. So you take care. Talk to you again soon. Bye-bye now.